They say the river never forgets. It remembers every tear that falls into it, every secret whispered on its banks, every life that drinks from its waters. And in Africa, there is a saying, water has no enemy. You can fight a man, you can fight the wind, but you cannot fight the river, for it will always flow, carrying both life and death in its current. But what happens when a man learns that the river is not only water, not only fish and current, but a spirit watching, listening, waiting to test the hearts of those who come near? This is not the story of kings, nor of warriors, nor of the wealthy. This is the story of a fisherman named Kojo, whose net was empty more often than full, whose children cried from hunger, and whose wives' eyes were heavy with despair. One night, when the moon lit the water silver, Kojo's life changed forever. The spirit of the river rose from the depths, and with it came a choice. A choice that would test greed against gratitude, selfishness against sacrifice. Listen carefully, for in the ripples of this story lies a truth older than the river itself. Kojo lived in a small riverside village where every man's worth was measured by his catch. At dawn, the fishermen would push their canoes onto the wide river, paddles slicing through the calm surface as nets unfurled like wings above the water. By afternoon, smoke curled into the sky as women roasted fish, children carried skewers, and the air filled with the smell of tilapia and catfish crisping over flame. But Kojo's home was different. His canoe was old, its wood cracked and warped, patched with rope where nails had long since rusted away. His net was frayed, with more holes than knots. Every morning he pushed into the water, and every evening he returned with little, sometimes one fish, sometimes none at all. His wife, Oma, tried to make the little they had stretch. She pounded cassava until her hands ached, boiled thin porridge that filled the children's bellies but not their hunger. Their two daughters, Abina and Efua, watched their father come home each evening, their eyes wide with hope, only for that hope to fall when they saw his near-empty basket. One night, Oma sat by the dim glow of the cooking fire, staring into the pot of watery porridge. Her voice was soft but heavy. "Kojo, perhaps the river has cursed you. Perhaps you must try something else." Kojo looked at her, his face lined not with age but with worry. He shook his head slowly. "The river feeds all who come to her. Tomorrow, I will try again." And so he did. From dawn until dusk, he paddled, cast his net, pulled, and cast again. His back bent, his hands blistered, but his net came back almost empty. The sun beat down, the river mocked him with silence, and still he kept going. The villagers began to mock him. "Kojo the unlucky," they laughed from the shore. "Kojo who feeds his family with air." Children sang cruel rhymes as he walked past with his empty basket. Even men shook their heads, muttering, if the river will not feed him, perhaps he should starve. Kojo said nothing. He kept his eyes down, his lips sealed. For though his belly was empty, his spirit was stubborn. At night, when his daughters asked, "Papa, why does the river not love us?" Kojo forced a smile and said, "The river tests us. One day, it will remember us." But when his daughters slept, when almost tired breathing filled the hut, Kojo sat outside alone. He stared at the black ribbon of the river under the moonlight, his heart whispering doubts he dared not speak aloud. A man may lose strength, but if he loses hope, he has lost everything, he told himself. My hope is thin as a thread, but it has not yet broken. Kojo did not yet know that the river was listening. That his whispered prayers, his silent tears, his stubborn hope, all of it had reached ears beyond mortal men. And soon, the river would answer. The moon was full that night, so bright it turned the wide river into a sheet of silver. The air was heavy with silence, no laughter from the village, no songs from the night birds, only the steady lap of water against Kojo's old canoe. Kojo's arms ached from a long day. His back burned with strain, his fingers were raw from pulling the rope of his worn-out net. His basket lay empty at his feet, mocking him. "Why must it always be so?" he muttered under his breath. He dipped his paddle again, slowly, carefully, guiding the canoe farther into the moonlit stretch. His eyes scanned the rippling surface, desperate for a glimmer of scales, for any sign of life. At last, with a tired sigh, he cast his net again. It spread across the water, floated, and sank. For a long moment, he held his breath. Then he pulled. The ropes tightened in his hands, but the weight was nothing. Empty. Kojo clenched his jaw. He cast again. Waited. Pulled. Still nothing. Frustration surged in his chest. His lips trembled, and then words burst out of him, loud and desperate, his voice echoing across the water. River. Have I wronged you? Why do you feed others but starve me? What sin have I committed that you should turn your face from me? The shout broke the stillness, and then, silence returned. The night seemed to hold its breath. Kojo shook his head, pressing his palms to his face. His voice cracked with exhaustion. I am a man, yet I feel like less than a man. My wife grows weary. My children hunger. My people mock me. Must I die on these waters before you hear me? And then, something stirred. The water around his canoe rippled though there was no wind. At first Kojo thought it was his tired eyes playing tricks. But the ripples grew wider, circling his canoe, glowing faintly under the moonlight. His hands tightened on the paddle. His heart pounded in his chest. What is this? He whispered. The ripples quickened. From their center, the water began to rise, higher, higher, as though the river itself were gathering into a single form. A shape emerged, tall and shimmering. Its outline shifted like liquid light, its skin glowing like the surface of the moonlit river. Neither man nor woman, but somehow both. Kojo's eyes widened. His breath caught in his throat. His canoe rocked gently as he fell to his knees, trembling. Who are you? The figure's voice was like rushing water, deep yet gentle, strong yet soft. It filled the air, echoing both inside and outside his chest. I am the river. I have washed you. I have seen your hunger, your labor, your silence in the face of mockery. You are stubborn, fisherman. Tonight, I will test your heart. Kojo's body shook. He pressed his forehead to the canoe floor, bowing low. Great Spirit, I have nothing but this broken net and this empty basket. But if you test me, I will answer. The spirit tilted its head, eyes deep as currents, unblinking, endless. For a moment, Kojo felt as though he were looking into time itself. Many come to me with nets full of greed, the spirit said. Few come with nets full of patience. You have been mocked, yet you did not curse. You have been hungry, yet you did not steal. You have been broken, yet you did not abandon your craft. Tonight, the river will weigh your soul. Kojo swallowed hard. He lifted his head, voice barely above a whisper. What must I do? The spirit smiled faintly, though its smile was like moonlight, calm, mysterious, impossible to measure. You will cast your net once more. What you pull, you may choose to keep, or you may choose to return it to me. Your reward will depend not on what you catch, but on what you decide. The words struck Kojo like a stone to the chest. Keep or return. His mind swirled with questions, but he dared not speak them. Instead, he reached slowly for his net. His hands shook so violently that the rope slipped between his fingers. He paused, closed his eyes, and breathed deeply. I am ready, he whispered to himself. The spirit's voice echoed again, soft but commanding. Cast, fisherman. With all his strength, Kojo threw the net wide. It spread across the glowing ripples, sank beneath the silver surface, and disappeared. For a long moment, the river was silent. Kojo's heart pounded in his ears. Sweat trickled down his temple. His arms quivered as he gripped the rope. Then, the net tightened. Heavy. He pulled. His muscles strained, his teeth clenched. The canoe swayed under the weight. His eyes widened. The net was heavier than it had ever been. Something writhed inside. Kojo's chest heaved. His breath came in short gasps. His mind whispered, what waits inside? Witches. Monsters. A curse. But still, he pulled. Inch by inch, hand over hand, until the net rose dripping, its burden hidden in shimmering cords. The spirit leaned closer, its glowing face unreadable. Choose well, fisherman. For your heart is being measured with every pull. Kojo's mouth went dry. His hands shook on the rope. The net was almost aboard. And with one last heave, he lifted it over the canoe's edge. The first test had begun. And what Kojo found in that net was not what any fisherman expected. It was the beginning of a trial that would decide not only his fate, but the lesson of a whole village. Wisdom grows when it is shared. Like this story, pass it on to someone who needs it, and subscribe to join our circle of truth.